Hi, this is Steve Caldwell. In this video, I'll explain the variable storage feature in Bome MIDI Translator Pro, discuss various options, and demonstrate a simple example. To use variable storage, you need Bome MIDI Translator Pro version 1.9.2 or later. It also works on BomeBox with firmware 1.6 or later. Essentially, you can save global variables to an internal storage space or to a file and later recover them. That allows you to preserve the state of your project between sessions. You control this from within your project as outgoing actions so that you can automate saving and loading the variables in response to MIDI events, keystrokes, or project events. For example, you can save them before the project gets closed and then read them back when the project is loaded or restarted. Here you can see how you define variable storage as an outgoing action. You have two types of storage to choose from: persistent storage and file storage. With persistent storage, you give it a name under which it is stored internally. Any project that refers to this name can load the variables independently of location of the project file. This option is handy if you want to share storage among different projects. With file storage, you provide either the full or relative file name of the storage file. The variables will be stored in an actual text file that you can also inspect, copy, and pass along with your project file. If you do not provide a folder name, the storage file will be in the same folder of your project file. For saving variables, there are two options. Save All will save all global variables which are not zero to the name storage. Basically, this means that you're saving all variables that are in use because they don't have their default value. You can also specify a list of additional variables that will always be saved, no matter if their values are zero or not. That is useful if there are variables that you do use that may happen to have a zero value. And last but not least, you can exclude variables that you do not want to save, even if they are not zero. Save Selected works the other way around. This option will only save the variables that you've listed in the field. The field is freeform, but I typically prefer to use a comma-separated list. If you uncheck the Overwrite option, then the listed variables will be updated in the named storage. All other variables in the storage will be kept. If you select Overwrite, then the entire named storage is cleared before writing the listed variables. For loading variables, you have similar options. Load All will load all the variables that are currently available in the selected storage. Similar to saving all variables, you can exclude variables from being loaded. If you check Clear First, then all global variables will be set to zero before the given storage is loaded, even those that you're not loading. Without Clear First, the global variables that you are not loading will keep their value. Load Selected will just load the variables that you list in the field. Now let's show a typical example. I create two translators. The first one will trigger when I close the project. The second one when I open the project. When I close the project, I save all variables in global storage. I exclude the variables Z0 and Z1. When I reopen the project, I load all variables saved back into the project. I've created a couple translators with faders. Fader 1 is going to write to the variable GA, and fader 2 is going to write to the variable Z0. First, I validate that everything is zero. There are no values in the global variables. Now I'm going to move some faders. And then I dump the global variables again, and you can see they both have values. The next thing I do is I close the project. Then we reopen the project. and we see that the value of GA is still set, but the value of Z0 is not because we didn't save it. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, reach out to us at forum.bome.com.